This is Matt and
Jesse.
Thanks for checking out Dice Round Table. And in this video,
we're talking about apps.
Do you like it in your board game? Because last time I checked, these were not sold in board games. Some additional resources may apply. So apps and board games. Where do you want to start? So let's see. Let's talk about games we've done apps in. Mansions of Madness.
Descent.
Yep. We've done Descent.
We've done
we did that Imperial Assault solo play with the app.
Yeah. Oh, Dead of Winter? No.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, with it had the crossword cards.
The crossword cards, yep.
So we've done some. The one that we did not play that was also a big hallmark was XCOM. And we've looked at, and we have not played as a disclaimer, Return to Dark Tower. But we've seen how the app works with that.
Mm-hmm. And
so it's been several years since Mansions of Madness second edition came out, which was the one that was like, ooh, apps and board games. What is this, good or bad? Followed up by XCOM. And so Mansions of Madness, yeah, we liked it.
We did.
Yeah. Use the app if you have the app. Like being able to keep information hidden, awesome. The functionality of keeping information hidden in a story, I think, is very crucial to using the app. Agreed?
Agreed.
What else about the app that you enjoy?
The monsters and like keeping track of their health and all of that, and not having to have something on the table. Like the app took care of that.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Keeping the board nice and clutter-free.
Yep, clutter-free.
The other purpose of an app is, I think those are the two perks.
Yeah.
I can't think of another perk to having an app. So if your app is taking care of my baddies or hiding information from me, then it's doing its job.
Yep.
It's doing its job well. Now let's talk about what we don't like in the app. Mansions does the thing I don't like. The app, having played it over time, has killed the fun factor for me. Which sadly has impacted her because I'm the one that plays it with her. So, but the sameness. You have an app. Be random. When we're playing the same mission, different heroes, or we're introducing a third player or another couple to a game, and we're playing the introductory scenario because my choices are 90 minutes or 3 hours or all day.
Yep.
Where's my 60-minute gameplay? Or where is my 10 different versions of a 90-minute gameplay? Not, here's your 3 choices for 90-minute games.
Yes.
Or you have like 6 choices for 3-hour games.
I don't want to play for 3 hours, honest.
And the pack up save feature I don't like.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, I don't think it does a very good job.
And we've used it once and we never went back to it.
We didn't like how it worked.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have a few short missions, randomize it. Have variation. And not the variation of, well, the house is inverted. Where the kitchen was over on the right, now the kitchen's over to the left.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Everyone, we need to get to that one room. That one room. Okay, we know we need to get to that one room. And I do wish specifically for mansions a little bit more time.
Yes, we get caught by the invisible timer so frequently.
It's like, and we don't ever search everything.
Because you can't. Because if you search everything, you're not going to get there.
Or getting the time to make sure everything's been passed off so everyone's equipped. Nope, all the random, whatever you found when you found it.
Or the person that has this item can do that, but that's not the person who searched it.
Yep. And it's just whatever. Give me random board setup.
Yeah.
Give me random board setup because, again, there's one where you're going outside and the thing's in the cellar.
Yep.
But, you found the cellar from outside, but you can't do it from outside because it's all boarded up unless you got the pry bar, which was on the other side of the house, which is already with another character, so you have to go back into the house to get into the basement. And when the bad guy comes out, he doesn't bust out through the outside to run the short path. He runs through the entire house. And randomness in one of those scenarios is not you wipe the board and reset it.
Or move the rooms.
I don't mind moving the rooms.
Oh, that annoys me.
But there was the one where Lily wiped the board and reset everything, and we're like, and the timer, because we're getting mentally sanity shocked and everything else hit, and it's like, But we don't want to get into a mansions only discussion. Randomness, managed randomness in the app, which I think Return to the Dark Tower does well.
Yes.
From what we've seen and gathered, there is randomness in those events connected to who you have.
Yes.
What monsters did you bring? What was the bad guy? What was the sub-mission? Randomness works. XCOM, you're using as a fancy timer. And Descent and Imperial Assault, it's very samey. And it's just managing the board. But they manage the board well.
They do.
Except for... Well, no, they didn't manage... They didn't track the baddies.
No, we tracked the baddies.
Yeah, we had to track the baddies. But it was nice letting something else be the overlord.
Yes.
So we could play together.
So we could play together.
So it was nice to relieve that. So there was some randomness, but... it just replaced that Overlord Storyteller. XCOM is just a fancy timer. So yeah, they've come a long way, but apps have not taken over board games.
No.
There's one thing, I think I showed it to you, but it's a tablet. It's a big tablet where it comes preloaded with like 15, 20 board games.
No, you did not show me this.
Oh, okay. So I forget what it's called. But when you go into it, it's basic games. Like one's called Zombie Dice. They're like mainly dice or simple card games where you just put it on the table and I touch, then it's your turn. So you touch.
It's like a pass and play?
Yeah, but imagine Yahtzee, but on a tablet.
No, thank you. I get what you're saying.
It removes the dice.
It removes the dice. No, thank you.
I mean, I want to play a board game because I don't trust the computer to roll my dice. I play miniature games because I don't trust the computer to roll my dice. Because no matter how random you try to make something, mathematically, it's not random. I'll let that sit out there for some of you to think about. But I can take a dice in real life and get 10 sixes in a row on the same dice. It's possible. Or roll the same number 10 times straight. It can and has happened. Never seen that type of randomness in a computer-generated roll.
No. In fact, the computer-generated rolls almost seem like they're against you.
And or they're just random.
Or they're just random.
And it is just what it is. So, any other thoughts about apps and board games?
If you're going to have the app track the baddies, make sure that what you're rolling for matches what you actually are fighting with. Like, we've seen apps where I'm fighting with a gun, but I want you to roll for, what was it?
So, Mansion specifically, agility lets you use throwing weapons or handguns. Strength for wood beams or pry bars. But then in its random narrative features, oh, well, you're going to be able to do this instead. So you're not hitting them over the head with your 2x4. It's you're trying to dodge out of the way and they hurt themselves. So use your agility. My agility sucks. Thank you very much. I was hitting them with a heavy object for a reason. Or I'm shooting them for a reason because I'm not trying to punch them.
Yep.
So stop trying to make me punch them when I'm trying to shoot them. But again, that's Mansions.
That is Mansions, but
that's a Mansions thing, but like, please don't.
Yeah.
If it's something that you have hidden information in a story, like True Fang, anything with narrative books, and I'm thinking like Near and Far,
Yeah, near and far.
Above and Below.
Yep.
Please put it into an app. That way you can randomize it. Above and Below, Near and Far. I went to this place. Well, we're going to read this entry again. I'm not really wanting to play it again. Maybe
Yeah.
if I introduce someone else to it, but we've played this twice, 3 times. I know what the 2 options are. I'll pass.
Not
But
enough variability.
the app gives you the ability to have variability. Take advantage of the tool. If you're going to make me use the tool, take advantage of the tool. Otherwise, we've recently picked up Shadows of Brimstone, and I think an app would be horrible.
I agree.
I like the decks of cards. There's a lot of decks of cards, but there's a randomness. I almost wish Mansion of Madness was just a deck of card, so I could impact the variability by flipping these cards. Yes, there's only so many cards that we're going to flip, but we have the option of going, oh, that's cool, look what's going to happen to us. Versus, are you serious? You want us to go where? Or, not this again. Shadows, we've literally played 2 of the same scenario,
And it
going
was
into a mine.
different.
Utterly different both
Utterly
times.
different both times.
If you can bring that randomness into your tool of an app, now let's talk.
Yep.
And I think that's what Return to the Dark Tower does.
Mmm.
It has variability, even though you can play the same scenario, but you're not playing the same scenario because you're tweaking the bad guy or the overall.
And you're tweaking the tower because it's not going to be the same every time.
That too. If you did everything, if you had everything as the same setup, the tower then is your variability on what would pop out, when, how, and why.
Yep.
So that has some variability into it. So yes, if you're using the app, use it all the way, please, developers. Don't just use it as a gimmick. XCOM, I felt like it was a gimmick. You could have just put a timer in the box. Someone pushes the timer, that's their job role, and it starts going off loud because it worked in Galaxy Trucker. There was a little sand timer or timer somewhere. It's Galaxy Trucker. You're trying to race through things. It goes off. You stop. So, yeah, XCOM was just a fancy timer because all the components that you need to do in the time length was on the table with you. So, yeah, use it. Use it. Please, use it for what it's there. Don't just use it as a stopgap.
I agree.
But, yeah.
Because apps can be amazing. They can do a lot of stuff. And if they can help clear up the board so you don't have to keep track as quite as much, that's awesome. But still let me roll my dice. And, put some of that variability in it.
I would say Mansion of Madness, gold star for breaking down the wall of using an app in a creative way.
Yeah.
In hindsight now, for us, it's showing its age.
Yeah.
It's shown its age. Fantasy Flight, do something to this app to improve some of the randomness in the missions, or give me 5 to 6 90-minute missions.
So that we can have the variability of what we play.
I think the spiritual successor to Mansions and using the app is Return to the Dark Tower.
Yeah.
Return to the Dark Tower right now is probably the cutting edge on using an app in a board game.
I agree.
Up until this point, everyone at one point the argument was, this is the new thing that everyone's going to figure out how to use.
But they haven't.
Mansions has been out for what, 5 years, 6 years, second edition,
no
something
idea.
like that.
Something like that.
And we don't have it. True Fang, I think, would benefit from the app. Like, that game would probably be immensely better for all people playing it. But yeah, so please, what's your thoughts? Do you have any games with apps? Is there something that we didn't talk about that we should have heard about, saw, mentioned? Because, yeah, there's only a handful of games with apps that I feel like are out there.
Yes.
I know what we didn't mention. Again, the criminal stories. I can't remember it. Portal has the app where you scan the QR codes to give you information. Like, again, managing hidden information. That's done it well. And the Unlock series, where they can make the game usable. That's awesome. You made a way for a one-off game to be usable by other people. Awesome choices for the apps, but that's it. It's managing hidden information right now.
Yeah.
That's what apps are for. And I think Return to the Dark Tower is the closest there to go the next step. So hopefully we'll see what the future holds for apps and games.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing what everyone comes up with.
What would you like to see them do with an app besides managing the board?
Besides managing, the one thing I really do like about Mansions was the enemy trackers and keeping track of their health. The other thing that I don't know, maybe some of the cards, I mean, granted cards are necessary, but do you need to have so many? Could the app take some of those cards and put them into the app instead?
That would be an interesting one, but then you're talking about, like, you would need a tablet, I would need a tablet, like, everyone at the table would need a tablet for your player cards.
Yeah, but I was thinking...
Like, this is your player board.
I guess I was thinking more like, well, but I was thinking about Truth Fang, like the enemy attacks, if that was included.
Oh, like it's managing that.
Yeah, it's managing some of like the cards that you really don't need, but that it could go into the app. Player stuff stays manageable.
Well, but no, some of the stuff gets really out of hand for some of those adventure games.
Some it does, but even like Shadows of Brimstone, like loot cards. That way you could get more variability with loot. Because
that's true.
You know what I mean? Or they could put in the monsters and their different healths, and just so that you didn't have to manage all the little markers. But it's just cleaning up the board.
Yeah, but see, okay, I think what I want is everyone at the table managing your player board. That way I can just boop boop, pull up my card, I read my text.
Oh. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, but see, there's 2 games I've played.
Okay.
BattleTech has an app out there where you can track your data sheets on a tablet.
Okay.
So instead of you taking a pencil and marking on a piece of paper, which I still like, there is an option of it being on a tablet.
Would you rather have it so that if we have one tablet like we do, you pass the player board? Because if you have...
No, everyone would have to have one.
So then you're...
That's the issue.
That's the problem.
With my plan.
Yes.
However, or a Chromebook. Chromebooks are rather inexpensive. You could have it. But again, like everyone's hopefully not goofing on the internet while they're waiting for other people not paying attention. But that's up to you to manage your table. How dare you think people can have self-discipline? Anyway, but the other one is War Machine. War Machine, when you built your army out, they had an app. So when you're at the table, instead of you tracking the damage on the table, you tracked it in the app.
Okay.
Because when you hit certain marks, it changed your unit's efficiency.
Right.
Like its attacks changed. So it managed it through the app. So, but again, I played some people with those games, and they're like, I need to get a cord, my phone's dying. And they're trying to play with the corded, and on the phone is so different from a nice screen.
Could you imagine Arkham Horror with an app? Make the gods in there and keep track of your clues and... Maybe? I don't know. That just popped in my head.
Arkham Horror would be interesting if it had an app companion, and I think that's where it would become a companion app and helping you manage
the city cards and like all those cards.
I think the only thing I don't want is so Arkham Horror, if I take the top 2 cards and take the 1 card and I'm shuffling it,
right?
There's a chance with me just doing this, it's the top card.
Yeah.
Every time when I shuffle it. But now I'm asking a program to do it.
Oh, gotcha.
And it's going to find that mathematical randomness And 9 out of 10, it'll be the third card
Every time.
every stinking time just
Yeah.
because it wants to be a pain.
Yeah, you're right.
And it's like you're working against me.
You're right.
Where I just feel like sometimes when you write these computer programs, the programmer has tendencies in how they write the program. There's a way to get true randomness, but they don't always write it that way. It's almost like they don't want full randomness. Like it's, I don't know, I've never dissected these codes, but I almost feel like they have put in the code to prevent you from getting the same result twice. And it's like, that's not true random. Because otherwise my shuffle on my music player, someone needs to talk to that about random.
Oh, absolutely.
Why is it the same song every time I plug it in? That's the first song you want to do? I'm
Every
sorry,
time?
how random is that out of 80 songs?
I have
So-
13 hours of songs and it still can't figure out how to be random.
So Arkham Horror, I think that would be a companion tracking app for the gods.
Yeah.
And I could see that. To track that for you and track the flipping. So instead of you having to pull the same cards for the same god,
Right.
what they should have just made a god deck over here and said, okay, now flip the next card. Now go look for card 55. Like, no, that should have just been its monster deck or its event deck as things came.
Yep. I
Card
agree.
1, card 2, card 3, card 4, card 5. Not find card 55, 56, 59, 72. What? So a companion app would have been great.
For those, yes.
And then if you wanted to Fantasy Flight, microtransactions. Hey, we have a new god over here. Would you like to buy that god? But you use the clue cards for this one. Like, again, micro purchasing. I'll take a cut if you use that idea. So, but I think companion app, and then maybe that's another thing, like using it as a companion app or driving the game, like Mansions, it's driving the game.
Yes.
Return to Dark Tower, driving the game. Imperial Assault Descent, it's an companion app.
So is Dead of Winter.
Dead of Winter's a companion app
Yep.
helping you. Unlock, it's driving the game because all the hidden information is there. Same for the True Crime series from Portal. You need it. But you need it to play the game. So the game is actually the app for True Crime and Unlock. In some essence, you're just using these for the QR codes. But Return to Dark Tower and Mansions are driving the game. XCOM, it's a fake driver. Because just give me a timer. And then some random bad stuff happens. Well, you can have a deck of random bad stuff. Hello, it's called Pandemic. And Shadows, like, that bad deck idea has been around forever. Shadows over Camelot? Like, I'm just looking over there, I'm like, yeah, this has been around a while. No, XCOM was a fake app needed. Like, they could have so done it without the app. Anyway, that's beside the point. So I think that's it. I think we've beaten this one up a little bit.
Yeah, I think we've beaten the horse.
Yeah. So what other thoughts do you have? Put it in the comments below. Otherwise, thanks for watching.
Take care.